Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 22nd of May 2020 and welcome to video number 147. Today I want to talk about something important. I want to talk about contempt. I want to talk about the situation when in your relationship you see that you start to despise yourself. Let's just jump right into it because I can tell you a lot about the context, but it doesn't really matter. I want to start with giving you the glimpse or understanding where you are. Because look, if you are in a situation when you not only argue because you've got difference of opinions, but you are despising yourself. Maybe you feel that you kind of despise your girl, or maybe you feel that she despises you. You know that from that moment in time, the arguments stop being about fighting about arguments, if I'm right or she's right. Now we start to use an arguments that will hurt the other person. And I want you to kind of ask yourself a question. If you see that Jack and Susan doing this, they are against each other, and that's how they argue. Ask yourself how long their relationship is gonna stay afloat. When they start kind of attacking each other, you have to know that it's sooner or later this whole thing is gonna crash and burn. Because I want you to be completely aware that when the war is on and you fight against each other in your relationship, you're on a highway to destruction. Sooner or later, it's gonna happen that some of you will just snap, and all this thing is gonna be over. So you're not in a situation when everything is fine. We're gonna make it work. You're in a danger zone, and I want you to be aware of it. That the moment you start to despise your spouse, your wife, or your girl, if you're not gonna do something about it, it's just gonna burn. That's just how it is. So that's why point number 2, I want you to really ask yourself if you want this thing to stay alive. And I want you to kind of know that kind of excluding just few very extreme situations of abuse, of I don't know, when something like physical or emotional abuse or really hard is going on, I would always say try to save your relationship. Why? Because if it all started with you loving each other, there's no sense of destroying it and then thinking that it's going to work with someone else. It's a complete absurd idea because you're taking the same approach, the same broken mindset to other relationship. You have to start from scratch. It's going to take you a long time to build what you already have, especially if your relationship it's not a new one, especially if you've been in a family for a few years. It's not going to be just in a blink of an eye to rebuild something with someone else. And then you're the same jerk, so you really think it's going to be different? And then it's going to be all about the hurt and thinking about her when you it's complicating and overcomplicating your life. So that's why I will practically always say try to save your relationship, and I'm going to help you, and all this project is based to help you build your relationship. That's why I'm directing this thing to you guys, to you, my friend. Because see, I spent a lot of time talking to girls about relationship. With I had a lot of friends. We talked about, and the more I talk with them, the more I get to the conclusion that I'm not talking with the right person. Because most of them will want to patch up and fix their relationship. In most of the cases, guys are just, we don't want to talk about it. We're not really sure if we want to be in this relationship. So it all comes down to us. So that's why I know that if you're already fighting and despise each other, you're on a road to destruction. Second, make a decision or ask yourself and then decide if you want to save this relationship or not. I would say think about it and see if you find at least something that you still love about the girl, let's try to fix it. Because if you'll survive this, you'll be able to survive so much more, just because the depth of the problem And if you overcome it, you'll be really strong. So point number 3, what are we supposed to do to make this thing work? And you see, first thing that you need to kind of agree upon, and obviously it's going to have to be done, by talking to each other. But first thing that you need to build this whole thing, the new chapter of your relationship, you will have to agree that from now on, we don't give ourselves a permission in any way or any shape or form to attack each other, to go against each other. The whole idea is to build this whole thing like we are a team. The primary goal would be for this thing to survive. So we're supposed to protect each other from outside, from anything that comes outside and try to attack us. Not try to, survive our own attack on each other. It's unacceptable. So that's why figure out, sit down and talk about it and say, that's the first thing. It doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what I feel, it doesn't matter how I want to act. What is most important for us to never attack each other and for this relationship to survive. And then you'll have to kind of give yourself permission to set up some rules. Because many times because of the emotions, many times, maybe I'll start, yelling at her or something. And I want to give her a permission, and it has to work both ways. Give her permission to tell me, we agreed never to scream at each other and to attack each other. So that is why I'm talking to her, I'm giving you permission to tell me, stop, because we agreed to never attack each other. And I'm giving her permission to tell me, I want you to apologize. And let's try to keep the emotions down and try to talk about it and find a solution. Because the reason is that our relationship is at the top of the priorities. And we want to end up in any situation that we have different opinions or something goes wrong. We want to figure out the way so we end up, hugging, loving each other, and having this kind of awareness that we can overcome anything that comes against us. There are many ways that it's supposed to be done. There are many, ideas and tips and tricks. I don't want to go deeply into that. I'm talking about all of that in many other videos. But this is what you want to understand. If you're despising yourself, you're in danger zone. Decide that you want to make change and save this relationship. And then, first of all, agree that your relationship has to survive. And you give yourself permission to stop yourself if, because of emotions or whatever, anything else, you start attacking each other. Because it's not acceptable. And there's no reason or nothing will give you permission to break this rule. Nothing. It's doable. Trust me. You can turn your relationship from complete destruction. You can kind of get back to being happy. But you have to start with this. Because this is what I want you to take from this video. Not in any home, any relationship, which is turned against itself, it will not stand. It will be destroyed. So that's why you have to do something about it. And that's why I'm talking about this to you, my friend, to the guy, to the man. Because if you want to feel like a man in a relationship, you will have to start this conversation. You have to take lead. Because that's like the most important thing in your relationship, especially right now. So that's why think about it and do something about it. Because everything is in your hand. And trust me, she counts on you. If you like this video, share, like, comment. If you didn't like this video, do the same thing. Or just give me a shout what you think. Because maybe you've got some point of view that I didn't thought about. Or maybe never heard or knew about. And I'll be glad to learn from you and maybe add something or change something that I believe, or maybe have a different view. That'll be really interesting to hear what you have to say. And if there's anything you want me to record about, give me a shout as well, and I'll be glad to record something for you about it. That being said, see you tomorrow.